sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This
will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. I'm on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to watch a broadcast, just go to Reaver.one. That is REAVER.ONE. And click on the SHR TV button. It's that simple. So easy, even a liberal can do it. Oh. What the heck? Hate what the bleed through on the TV. All right. Let's see. Anything in the news? Well, yeah, there's a lot. One of the things is everybody was bitching how Trump handled North Korea. Well, it seems North Korea has backed down. North Korea backed down Monday from a threat to fire missiles at the U.S. territory of Guam, according to a North Korea state media report cited by the Wall Street Journal. Dictator Kim Jong-un. Oh, sorry, I did. Sackhead Sean. That's every time on Sackheads they do that, and it's stuck in my head now. Every time I think Kim Jong-un, damn it, Sean. I blame you. Kim Jong-un had decided against the missile attack. According to the report, after making preparations to launch it, he warned that North Korea was ready to attack Guam if the United States continued to make arrogant provocation and unilateral demands. If the Yankees persist in their extremely dangerous, reckless action on the Korean Peninsula and in its vicinity, testing the self-restraint of the DPRK, the North will make an important decision as it already declared, he said. North Korea's decision to back down is a major victory for the United States, as it was achieved apparently with no concessions to the regime and after a sustained Twitter word of words with President Donald Trump. God dang it, gotta wake up. I was awake. All of a sudden, we go live, and I start fucking yawning. What the blue blazes is up with that? I guess it's Trump's fault. Everything's Trump's fault. So I'll blame Trump, too. Trump was roundly criticized by politicians from both parties and by the media for his response to North Korea intercontinental ballistic missile launches and to news that the regime could miniaturize a nuclear warhead. Trump threatened fire and fury and declared that U.S. military plans were locked and loaded. There you go. Out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. All right. Let me get some more coffee. Let's see how that does. It's funny how Trump did what he had to do and handle it the way he thought best. The supposed experts chastise him for handling it the way he did. But, as it turns out, it wasn't a bad way to handle it. We didn't have to pay billions of dollars to North Korea. We didn't have to give anything up and they backed down. That's simple. He basically called their bluff, told them what would happen if they actually went through with their bluff, and everything worked out. Instead of giving billions of dollars of U.S. money over to a communist dictator, it seemed to have worked out a hell of a lot better. However, Trump's method of one-upping Kim Jong-un's belligerent rhetoric seemed to have worked, as Trump cast himself as an even more unpredictable than the infamously, oh my God, it's starting already, people. Lord help me. Lordy me, I can't talk all of a sudden. He also pressured China diplomatically to squeeze North Korea, which also worked. The Chinese suggested last week that they would not defend North Korea if it attacked the U.S. as long as the anticipated U.S. retaliation did not actually try to end the regime itself. Everything got worked out. Everything is going great. The only ones that are complaining, guess who? The liberals. Why? Because Trump's showing why he is a great president. If they want to cry and try to call him a racist and all this other crap still, that goddamn bullshit's still going on. It's... You know, people were asking today, and they're being somewhat facetious, I think. Oh, what next? You're going to vandalize the Lincoln Memorial? You're going to vandalize George Washington? Founding fathers better watch out. And, well, someone has vandalized the Lincoln Memorial, the National Park Service says. The words, "fuck law," were found written in red spray paint early Tuesday on a pillar at the monument that overlooks the Capitol building and National Mall. NPS said Tuesday afternoon. The graffiti was found about 4:30 a.m. Now, we've had a couple Confederate monuments that have been vandalized down here. And I don't understand how they're being allowed to do it. They are taking it upon themselves, these left-wing scumbags, and they are damaging property. Whether you think it's offensive or not, you do not have the right to go and vandalize property. You may have a misconstrued idea of these monuments. Now, don't forget, the Confederate soldiers were forgiven and pardoned and brought back into America's fold, and they were given the same treatment, the same benefits as all U.S. soldiers were given. But now, because liberals got a bug up their ass and they're trying to cover up their history, they're trying to rewrite history, they are backing this movement to remove all these statues. And again, I've said it before, and I'm going to fucking say it again. If people have a problem with the Confederate Army and all that, and it reminds them of slavery and all this other shit, then why the fuck are you voting Democrat? Why are we allowing the Democrat Party to exist? The Democrat Party is the party of slavery. Democrat Party is the party of the Confederacy. But yet, people ignore that part. We don't want to talk about that because, God forbid, they would have to admit that they're backing everything they're bitching about. It just... Democrats are trying to hide their racist history. They have been against women's rights. They have been against civil rights. They have been against the women's suffrage movement. What the hell is that? Filibustered countless times the civil rights movement. You know, they take credit for it because there was a Democrat president for the women's suffrage. But it was the Republicans who sponsored and co-sponsored and passed the bill. It was the Democrats who fought against the women's suffrage. Civil rights, the Republicans were trying for over 100 years. Well, 100 year. Not years, 100 years. To get it through. It took them 100 years of fighting the Democrat Party. And then they're telling you, well, we switched parties then. Yeah, the Republican Party, after 100 years of fighting Democrats to get civil rights for the minorities, decides, we got it through, let's become racist. And they tell you, well, if you look, they started winning the South. That's a falsehood. That is a falsehood. Because Jimmy Carter won the South. Bill Clinton won the South. Obama won the South. It has nothing to do with, there was no switch. There was no flipping of parties. It's a myth that they tell people so they don't have to answer to their racist history. And I know I keep going over this over and over again, but it keeps pissing me off because they keep pushing to bastardize and take away our history. They're taking away these monuments of our history. And then they go up and then they vandalize the Lincoln Memorial. You know, kids were being taken there to visit this. No, but they're told, they're rewriting history, that Lincoln was a racist warmonger. And he just wanted to put the nation into a war. He didn't care about freeing the slaves. That's what they're teaching nowadays. They're trying to rewrite. Then they're, oh, no, he wasn't a Republican. For those that don't know, Lincoln was the first Republican president. Republicans were formed together of abolitionists to do away with slavery. Something like that. That's what the Republican Party was formed, to do away with slavery. And the Democrats can't handle it. I'm sickened. The work is on the way to remove the words. A preservation crew is using a mild gel-type architectural paint stripper to remove the paint without damaging the stone. The crew is applying a layer of the gel, rinsing it, checking how effective it was, and repeating as necessary. On Tuesday evening, the words were covered with thick paper. The work is expected to extend for a week. Local news stations spotted additional damage to the Lincoln Memorial Tuesday afternoon. Someone appeared to have carved M+E on the same pillar where the red spray paint was found. The letters were thought to have been there for a while. While the paint can be removed, the carving is permanent. Additional vandalism in silver spray paint was found on a sign on the 1400 block of Constitutional Ave. National Park Service said any words were indecipherable. That graffiti was small scrawlings that appeared to say Jackie shot JFK. Blood test is a lie. Leukemia, cancer, HIV get a second option. And 9/11/01 pilots flew planes into the World Trade Center. Kevin Hall, U.S. serviceman who took his family to the Lincoln Memorial after the vandalism in February, said he took it personally. I served the greatest Air Force in the world, but to come here to see that is like a slap in our face, he said. Defacing a national monument or memorial is rare, but not unheard of. The most significant case in recent memory was a bizarre incident in 2013 when a woman threw green paint on the Lincoln Memorial and later on the Washington National Cathedral. She was arrested, but later found incompetent to stand trial. In that case, it took crews nearly a month to clear the green paint from the Lincoln Memorial. But National Park Service staff are skilled in the tricky removal process of graffiti removal. It's absolutely sick. And this is where the left is heading to. They've been defacing historical monuments. We have one down here. It's a private Confederate flag. Well, that was damaged the other night. People are taking it upon themselves. And it's... someone's going to get hurt over this. We already had someone hurt over all this shit, between the right and left. We've had multiple people hurt. But I find it funny, the governor of Virginia, Terry McAuliffe, whatever the hell the douchebag's name is, after two serious attacks on working journalists by apparent anti-fascists, the Antifa activists, the governor still will not denounce Antifa attacks. It's funny, they're still, even in the media, still defending and, trying to make Antifa sound like they're the heroes when they had pee thrown in their face. I'm at a loss. The right has to condemn in every which way possible, KKK, neo-Nazis and everything like that. But the left, they can ignore and not answer anything about affiliation or whether they condemn the actions of Antifa and Black Lives Matter and their violence. Who's the one that's been creating the violence? I'll give you a hint. It's been Antifa and Black Lives Matter. They've been the violent group of late. And the only reason we're hearing anything about these white supremacist, neo-Nazi, KKK cocksuckers is because the left keeps talking about them. The left keeps giving them media press. Nobody else is talking about them. The left has a fascination with them. Well, they did create them. I want to know, when is the left going to, when are they going to start condemning the violent actions and trying to make excuses for Antifa? When are they going to start declaring their evil intentions? You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying Cap was stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. And I'm here to try to make sense out of the senseless. Hey, how you doing, Jenna? I didn't forget about you. I was just away from the computer for a second. Oh, boy. I'm just at a loss. When will the left denounce Antifa and their violence? It seems to be okay that they get away with it. Everybody else, you know, they got to, stand from a mountaintop and, 24 hours, 7 days a week, just keep talking about how they're against it. And I like how Trump doesn't play it. He doesn't play it. And he said what he said. He came out and redefined it for the media. And no matter what that man says, it will never be good enough. they're always going to be questioning him. Always. I don't know. It's disgusting, is what it is. You know, you got CBS photojournalist is assaulted in the head while shooting protest in Richmond, and he had to get stitches from it. You know, but they ignore that. Oh, that's nothing. That's protesting. You know, the left has every right to protest, and they don't protest. They tear shit up. They riot. They attack people. But that's under the guise of protesting. Then you have a group, whether I like them or not, they had the permits to protest. They had the right to be there. And it seems politicians, well, they created an atmosphere that caused this explosion of violence. And it's starting to really come out. It is. That, because they're trying to blame the police, basically. And the police are kind of doing a, fuck you, it wasn't us. Because the governor's like, well, these militia, I love how they always depict anybody they consider on the right as militia. You know, they're not the ones that started the violence, but hey, you know, the militia outgunned and out-equipped the police. But quick on that note, because that's what the governor said, that the police were outgunned, out-equipped. Wasn't it the left that was decreeing and carrying on about the police? Oh, they're too armed. They look like they're the military. They don't need that type of equipment. And now you got a Democrat governor that's, oh my guys, they were outgunned and when they weren't. And the cops came out and said, we weren't out-equipped. You know? It's a joke, is what it is. It's ridiculous. But when will the left, when will they be held to the same standard they're holding everybody else and be forced to condemn the actions? Because you won't ever see it. They'll never come out and say it. Because they're not going to go against George Soros. What was this other one? The attack followed a similar attack Saturday during the Unite the Right rally. The Richmond march was protesting. Suspected Antifa activist punched Taylor Lorenzon, a female reporter from The Hill, as she tried to film their activity during the violent morass with white nationalist groups around the statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee, leading to a local state of emergency. Well, the problem is that state of emergency was declared well before it even started, because they knew what was going to happen. They knew that there was going to be violence because they had the police push the protesters that had a permit to be there directly into the path of these Antifa counter-protesters. There's pictures of cops standing there doing nothing. I'm pro-police, but this is becoming too often. Where do these things happen? In liberal-controlled states, cities. You don't see where a goddamn conservative governor, conservative mayor is allowing this. The police step in immediately and keep the peace. There might be little fights here and there, but nothing on this magnitude. And I'm sorry, I'm pro-police, but this, if the police allowed that standing order to be given to them, and they actually stood there and watched, they are just as guilty. They are just as guilty. If they push the crowd of KKK and neo-Nazis into the direct path of the counter-protesters, they are responsible, just as responsible for that, for the violence that went on. They are just as responsible for the death and 19 injured. They are the ones that created this atmosphere. They did nothing to keep it separate. Now, I'm not trying to throw the police under the table, but even if they're given the order from the governor and the mayor, that is an illegal order, that is an immoral order, and they know that, and they know not to follow it. But they chose to still follow it. And that is sick. Got my beard head getting stuck in a foamy thing. Pissed me off. A lot of great cops out there. I know a lot of great cops. And what they see going on is sickening. And they're always getting blamed for shit. But this one was a bunch of cops that knew better. And still sat on their ass and did nothing. I'm sorry, but even if they were just following orders, they knew that order was unjust. And they shouldn't follow it. So, I don't have a lot of pity for that. I know a lot of my buddies, there are a lot of out there, and they're pro-police also, and got police family, and I'm not out to piss you off, and I got a lot of friends that are cops. I'm not out to piss you off, but I also know you guys wouldn't be sitting on your ass. I know your families wouldn't be sitting on your ass, because all it takes is one good cop to stand up and do the right thing. One cop. And they all would get in line and do the right thing. You know, there's been a lot of evil perpetuated in this world because I was just following orders. I'm not trying to throw any of these officers under the table, and I apologize. But you know what? A lot of this could have been prevented, and just because it just seems like too many people wanted this to happen. This was so easily preventable. So easily preventable. But people wanted this escalation to happen. I don't know. It's... I don't know. It's disgusting. Even a left-leaning, progressive, pro-publica outfit, and they may argue who started, but they agree that the groups were allowed to engage with each other. There was a lot of people that had nothing to do with white supremacy or any of that were there and got caught up in that whole mayhem. And that's sick. I don't know. But this whole shit in Charlottesville is disgusting. But of course, CNN distorts Charlottesville's victim's mother's statement to attack President Trump. CNN twisted the victim's mother's statement thanking President Donald Trump for his sympathy to make it seem like she would not want his condolences. Susan Bro, the mother of Heather Heyer, released a statement on Monday thanking President Trump for his kind words, condemning violence, and giving his condolences to the victim of the Charlottesville incident over the weekend. Heather Hayers passed away after a man drove his car into the crowd of counter-protesters to the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia this past Saturday. Bro said in a statement, "Thank you, President Trump, for those kind words of comfort and for denouncing those who promote violence and hatred. My condolences also to the grieving families of the 2 state troopers and quick recovery for those injured." But of course, CNN, fake news of them all, had to twist. On Monday, President Trump condemned violence and hatred in the strongest terms and specifically named Heather Hayes during his press conference. President Trump said her death fills us with grief and we send her family our thoughts and prayers and our love. Meanwhile, CNN alleged that Susan Bro was no fan of President Trump and would not want his condolences, citing one of Bro's friends. Bro's friend said on CNN, Heather would not want his condolences. She would not want him to speak her name. President Donald Trump attacked CNN's fake news reporting on Monday, charging that the media will never be satisfied with his remarks to the victims of violence. And they won't be. No matter what is said or done, they will keep doing whatever the fuck they want. Facts be damned. They don't care. It's an absolute joke. CNN is. Absolute joke. They got to twist everything to have a story. Because if they told the truth, if they reported the truth, they probably have nobody watching them because it'd go against of all the fake news that they've been perpetuating onto everybody. All the propaganda they've been pushing. They're the ones that sound more like goddamn Russia than anything. Sickening. I'm just... It's embarrassing to see what our country has turned into. And this is Obama's America that he created. There's no conversation. You try to have conversation. There's several minority groups that are coming out saying, no, we like when these people come out. We know who they are, number one. And with conversation, taking differing opinions, you can come together to a better opinion. You could talk to them. You can possibly reason with them. But keeping them silent and in the woods is not the way to be. Don't forget, at 11 o'clock, that will be about an hour and 20 minutes from now, it will be BZ, Berserk Bobcat Saloon. Also, Dan the Man Butcher will be joining BZ in the saloon tonight. And they'll be kicking back at the bar and having some nice discussions. It's always great when those two get together. I don't know. I'm absolutely floored. I don't know. Charlottesville racist leader was former Occupy activist and Obama supporter. When I read this, I was like, wait, what? What? Oh, someone's, it's probably fake news. There's so much going around. Everybody's distorting facts. The Southern Poverty Law Center reports that Jason Keller, the organizer of last Saturday's white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, is rumored to be a former Occupy Wall Street activist and supporter of Barack Obama. Immediately, I stepped back and I went, this whole thing's been a setup. This whole thing has been set up from the beginning. Now, remember, the left-wing Southern Poverty Law Center is often partisan and overzealous in targeting hate groups, lumping legitimate conservative organizations together with actual extremists. Therefore, its identification of Keller's left-wing roots is significant. But I still say there is a connection. And this is showing that there was premeditated on everything from the Unite the Right rally straight down to the riot that happened. I'm saying it's all faked. I mean, there was real violence, there was real anger, but it was a setup. Especially if this guy is the quote-unquote former Occupy Wall Street activist and supporter of Barack Obama. Very easily, it's just you take a hit. Some people are willing to do it for the cause. The Southern Poverty Law Center notes, rumors abound on white nationalist forums that Kessler's ideology pedigree before 2016 was less than pure and seems to point to involvement in the Occupy movement and past support for President Obama. At one recent speech in favor of Charlottesville statue as a sanctuary city, Kessler live-streamed himself as an attendee questioned him and apologized for an undisclosed spat during a Kessler apparent involvement with Occupy. Kessler appeared visibly perturbed by the woman's presence and reminders of their past association. The reporter goes on to say that Kessler's right-wing views only became public in November 2016, though he himself says he changed from left-wing extremist to right-wing extremist began in 2013 when a PR executive made a racial joke about AIDS on her way to Africa and found when she landed that she had lost her job in the ensuing backlash. Yeah, that would make me give up my total ideology and switch sides. Something does not smell right in Denmark. In the related news, reports emerged Monday that James Alec Field Jr., the 20-year-old who plowed his car into a left-wing counter-demonstration in Charlottesville, Virginia, killing one and injuring several others, had been diagnosed with schizophrenia as a boy and had been given antipsychotropical drugs, and it's not clear if he was still taking them. Stay tuned. We'll continue this on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying Catherine is stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. One thing I also want to point out, the left is so disgusted by the KKK. They're so disgusted by all this. But yet, it was the KKK who had a senator, Robert Byrd, who was the longest-serving Democrat senator in U.S. history. 50 years he served until 2010. 2010 when he died. Hillary Clinton hugged and kissed him and said that he was a mentor towards her. Don't forget, she also said Margaret Sanger was a woman that she looked up to. Margaret Sanger is the woman that came up with the idea for Planned Parenthood using abortion, and her idea was she could thin out and, end the black population through abortion. That's what Planned Parenthood is, and if you take a look, Planned Parenthood, most all of them are in inner cities closest to the black neighborhoods. They continue it. But they went on about Robert Byrd. There's schools named after him in Virginia. Schools, libraries, buildings all over Robert Byrd. Why am I bringing him up? Because he was a real Grand Kegel in the real Ku Klux Klan. He wasn't just a leader of the Ku Klux Klan. He was a recruiter for the Ku Klux Klan. He was in there during the 50s and 60s, some of the worst times of the Ku Klux Klan in modern history. He was a proud member. Did they force him out after 1960s when the party switched? No, they didn't. Did they force him out at any time because of their moral code? No, they didn't. They hugged and talked about how he was a great senator. He was a great person. He was the heart and soul of the Democrat Senate. That was Hillary Clinton. But, yeah, they make he apologized. He apologized, so therefore it's done and over with. No, it isn't. You had a KKK member as your senator, and you're going to bitch. You have schools named after Robert Byrd, an actual KKK leader. And you don't say fucking shit about those. That pisses me off. When they start making a fuss over that, and they start making the Democrats condemn Robert Byrd, then come talk to me about 100-year-old statues. Then come talk to me. Because we're talking about modern time KKK member. I'm appalled. Absolutely appalled. Do you know who has the most minority members in its party? That would be the Republican Party, not the Democrats. Yeah, you probably didn't know that. Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have the Black Caucus and all that crap. I don't know. It's absolutely appalling what I see going on in this country. And if anybody remembers, let's go back to the article we were talking about. Occupy Wall Street was a radical left-wing movement that began in 2011 in Manhattan and spread throughout the globe. It was committed to the destruction of the capitalist system and included violence and extremist elements that waged confrontation with police in the fall and winter of 2012. President Barack, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, Media Matters for America, and other Democrats nevertheless embraced the Occupy movement. They embraced a violent movement, and they continue to this day, with Barack Obama having Black Lives Matter in the White House after they just got done rioting. They ignored that fact that they rioted. Oh, that's First Amendment rights. And you got some idiot that's out there, well, hate speech is not covered underneath the First Amendment. Actually, fucktard. For number one, please explain what hate speech is, because everything is getting to be hate speech. If it's something the left disagrees with, no matter what it is, all they have to do is disagree with it, and it's hate speech. All you have to do is say you're a conservative, and you're automatically a racist now. That is what the left is doing. If you are on the right, you are a racist. Bam, done with. And you're automatically, anything you have to say is hate speech. This is the new way to silence freedom of speech. This is the new way for the Democrats to try to win. They can't win with facts. They can't win with actual meaning. They have no meaning. They can't win that way. So what do? They silence the opposing side. They have to demonize the opposing side. Oh, it just pissed me right off. Oh. What you gonna do? What you gonna do, brother? When these 4-inch pythons come down on you. So, a Huffington Post contributor outed as the leader of the Charlottesville doxing campaign. A Berkeley, California hot dog stand fired an employee in response to an online campaign to identify and maliciously publish private information or dox participants in Saturday Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. The crowdsourcing effort to name and shame, however, has already misstepped, incorrectly identifying an Arkansas professor 1,100 miles away from the men carrying torches as a racist. Wrongly named by Internet vigilance, Kyle Quinn was quickly flooded with vulgar messages on Twitter and Instagram, reported the New York Times. Countless people Countless people he had never met demanded he lose his job, accused him of racism, and posted his home address on social networking. For some whose only sin was a passing resemblance to someone else, the actual man in the Charlottesville photo has not been conclusively identified. Mr. Quinn bore the direct consequences of a reckless spread of misinformation and breaking news, a common ritual in modern news events. As for the hot dog stand employee, who a couple of news agencies decided not to name, as he too may have been wrongly identified, does not appear to have been involved in any violence, was outed after his picture was circulated on Twitter. He was a cook at Berkeley's top dog hot dog restaurant. The poster taped in the window of the establishment read, effective September 12th of August, with the employee's name, no longer works at Top Dogs. The actions of those in Charlottesville are not supported by Top Dog. We believe in individual freedoms and voluntary association for everyone. The Twitter account, Yes, You're a Racist, led the charge to dox rally attendees, posting pictures of white nationalist participants online and encouraging others to help identify them. Well, I got one question. And Jennifer Lawrence tried to jump in on this too. But why? Why aren't anybody trying to identify the Antifa violent protesters? Those people are given a pass. Those people are ignored. Anybody find that funny? I find it sickening. And they always like the alt-right. Well, the alt-left is just as bad. The account celebrated the firing of the first Charlottesville doxing victim on Sunday. The owner of the Twitter account, which has been active since 2012, was himself doxed, reportedly by users of the website 4chan on Sunday. Identified as Logan Smith, he is the employee at Progressive North Carolina Action and a Huffington Post contributor. Smith joined CNN's Brooke Baldwin Monday, confirming his identity and mission behind the Yes, You're a Racist account. When asked why he was so passionate about calling people out, Smith said that when he saw the images coming out of Charlottesville, the angry men with torches, he thought, they're not hiding anymore. They're not wearing their hoods anymore. If they are really so proud of their white supremacist belief, then I think their community should know who these people are. Well, the same thing can be said about those Antifa that wear the mask and hide their faces. Are they not proud of what they're doing? They run their mouth, but as soon as their identity is shown, they pretty much go and hide or shut up when, they're, not by in a large crowd. They're actually very quiet. Antifa is nothing more than a bunch of loudmouth fucking idiots. No problem, Jenna. Go get some rest. I'm so pissed. I'm tired of this shit. You got people that don't know what the hell they're fucking talking about, getting involved and interfering and screwing up people's lives. Because they saw something online. I don't know. Smith went on to explain that white people in particular must take responsibility for calling out bigotry. I think that everyone has a responsibility to stand up against bigotry. I'm probably not the person you would expect to be running an anti-racist Twitter account, but white people in particular have a responsibility to stand up against white supremacists. Because if we don't challenge bigotry whenever we see it, then we are being silently complicit in it. But at the same time, you're being a bigot, and you're thinking your opinion is the only right opinion. Mr. Smith apparently does not believe a left-wing nonprofit worker who writes for Huffington Post is who people think would be behind an account like this. Asked whether any of his targets had been outed yet, Smith confirmed that indeed several had, including one young man from Nevada, pictured with an incredible angry expression after tracking him down and finding that he was pictured once with Nevada Senator Dean Heller. Smith countered the argument that the rally's participants are fringe activists, saying clearly they're not. Progressive NC Action, Smith employer, is a state affiliate of Progressive Now, a 401c4 advocate group dedicated to promoting progressive ideas and causes. It was asked of Huffington Post, which has run several pieces condemning the practice of doxing when left-wing social justice warriors are the victims, whether it would continue publishing Smith's work. At the time of publication, Huffington Post had not responded to any queries about Smith's future writings for the website. While workplace retaliation is not new, the rise of technology and social media has made it riskier for individuals to participate in events not aligned with their employer's political views. While several newspapers do not condone the motivation behind last week's rally, it was scheduled as a lawful permitted free speech event protected underneath the U.S. Constitution's First Amendment. As seen with the recent Google manifesto and subsequent firing of James Damore, difference in ideology have become increasingly taboo in the workplace. This intolerance, however, seems to swing predominantly one way, with corporates caving more and more to pressure from the left. Walmart has gone so far as to sell clothing bearing the slogans of Black Lives Matter, a movement which supporters shot and killed 5 police officers in Dallas last year, and which is reported to be involved in the violence that plagued Charlottesville Saturday. Other than the hot dog stand employee, no other participant in this weekend's protest has been reported to have been fired. Baldwin, however, congratulated Smith and wished him more scalps with his name and shame effort. Good on you, Logan Smith. Keep doing it. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media, and the world's going batshit crazy. And High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mud Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of this senseless. I'm still at a loss with everything going on. I'm truly at a loss. I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless, but I kind of wonder if I can. But the Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to watch a broadcast, go to Reaver.1 and click on the SHR TV button. All right. I'm at a loss. It's our country. You know, I thought hopefully it would start to get better. But it hasn't. It hasn't. I'm just... Don't forget, top of the hour is BZ Berserk Bobcat Saloon, hosted by BZ himself, with special guest Dan the Man Butcher. Oh, man. There we are. Huffington Post piece. We went over that. Let's see. Where are we? Oh, after branding Trump a fascist. Surprise, surprise. Rick Wilson calls for lynching of fascists. Establishment GOP consultant and Daily Beast columnist Rick Wilson declared his support for lynching on Twitter Saturday, following a white nationalist rally. I like my fascists the old-fashioned way. Dead, hanging from lampposts as we liberate their victims, posted Wilson on Twitter in response to a white nationalist torch-bearing march in Charlottesville, Virginia, which included Richard Spencer. Wilson did not specifically specify who he considered to be a fascist in the tweet. However, he has previously branded both Trump and his supporters with the term. From a previous tweet, it's not vital signaling, it's virtue, or it's not virtue signaling, it's virtue to oppose both the lunatic proto-fascist Trump and the chance he elects HRC. In another tweet, there is no better Trump, there is no President Trump, he is a vile stain on this republic. Your resume will always work for a batshit crazy crypto-fascist who destroyed the GOP. Trump goes full fascist, and in 2013, Wilson also used the word to describe President Obama's youth corpse having a really nice fall night, except for the creepy crypto-fascist Obama youth corpse propaganda. This is not the first time that Wilson had expressed his support for violence against political opponents. In 2015, Wilson encouraged the GOP established donor class to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump. This man explained, well, just how crazy some people really are anymore. It's getting crazy out there. It really is. I know I keep saying that. It's nuts. I'm just... It's disgusting. The hell? YouTube, because I was playing something earlier and it's going on, and a life hack using the bottom of a coffee cup, like a ceramic coffee cup, to sharpen your knife. Okay. I mean, I gotta look at this one. Taking a bolt, screwing 2 nuts on it, and I think it's putting it in a drill. This is weird shit. I definitely wouldn't be trying this stuff. Destroy one of my knives. Now, my knives aren't high-end knives, but I like my knives. And I got to play one that I'm using to try to learn how to, sharpen properly. So you take the bolts, you keep them just a RCH apart, and you hot glue the nuts in place. Okay, this is weird. Some of this shit really, holy crap. They're serious. Yep, you put it in a drill bit, or in a drill. Yeah, I don't know about that. And then you put the knife in between, as you pull the trigger, you put the knife in between the 2 nuts as it spins. I don't know. Some of these life hacks are really... Do they just get bored and think, what kind of shit can we make up here? Get people to screw up their knives. Or screw this up, or screw that up. I don't know. All right, the bottom of the coffee cup, I could see. The ceramic, all right, I could see it. Just... All right. This... They always got some fun shit, what people come up with. This one's really weird. I can't even explain it. On the chuck part of your drill, you take sandpaper and you glue it down on the chuck part of your drill. You wrap it around and you glue it all down. Yeah. I'm going to go through all that just so I can sharpen a knife real quick. I don't think so. That's weird shit. That's too weird for me. Too weird for me. Oh, yeah, sharpen any knife in 60 seconds, of course, if you have this big grinder. Yeah, that's easy. All right. I'm off on another world when I start doing this shit. Oh. All right. Shit, what the hell's that guy's name? We're going to get back on track here. We actually are going to get back on track. Text to speech. I always screw this guy's name up. I'm getting tired of it, so I try to remember to pull this up and use this. And it's a common... I've heard this guy's name before. He's not important enough to remember. Ooh, that's not good, Jenna. That's not good. Well, I hope the best for you. All right, let me see what this guy's name is. What is this iPod? That's right, I turned that down. Come on. Why is this not working? That's why it was turned down. All right.
Gutierrez.
All right. Luis Gutierrez, that's it. He was out there saying he was on CNN's The Alex File podcast, said that Democrats must fight against the immoral U.S.-Mexico border wall. Now it's immoral. He called for consistency on that issue, as Democrats have routinely opposed defunding Planned Parenthood and have been advocates for same-sex marriage. Gutierrez said the Democrat caucus in the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate would basically have to turn their backs on key constituent groups' rights, which are Latinos, and on fairness and justice, because it's immoral to talk about that wall. He added Democrats have to be consistent, If this were over defunding Planned Parenthood, we wouldn't even have a question of Democrats sitting down and negotiating for that budget. If this were to eliminate same-sex marriage, we wouldn't have a conversation as Democrats whether we were going to vote for that budget. You know what? If it's for deportation, splitting of families, and destroying the dreamers, Democrats have to say that's the line we won't cross either. Oh, I just want to rip my hair out right there. The splitting up families and destroying the dreams. Wait a minute. I'm getting tired of that one. They were splitting up families, dude. They broke the law. How many times do we send people to jail in this country? Because they broke the law. It happens. It happens. You break the law, you go to jail, we split families up. End of the fucking discussion. God, it's not rocket science here. I mean, you break the law, you come into the country illegally, and now you want us to sit there and have pity on them? No. There is a proper way to come in the country. There's a proper way to do it, but they want to ignore it. They want to ignore it. And the Democrats, because they think they can get votes out of it, are willing to turn their backs on justice and everything America stands for. I mean, seriously, what are we supposed to do anymore? We're not supposed to stand up for the law? And when it comes to the wall, we got to secure the border. Period. It's not something immoral. We already have walls. Mexico has a wall. There's countries that put walls up on borders to help secure the borders, because fucking liberals anymore worldwide just don't want to, they don't want to follow laws anymore. If they think they can get votes, they're willing to ignore the laws. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying confidence, stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mud Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey expansion is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to watch a live broadcast, it's easy. Just go to Reaver.one, click on the SHR TV button. Don't forget, top of the hour. Top of the hour will be BZ Berserk Bobcat Saloon, hosted by, of course, the great, the infamous BZ. And he'll also have a co-host, guest, Dan the Man Butcher, the second greatest newsman in the business. So that'll be at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. What is that, 8 o'clock Pacific Pacific Standard Time. Oh, I couldn't believe my daughter did that the other day. She's like, tell Mom to be Pacific. And she meant specific. And she wanted to be Pacific. I was like, you want your mother to be an ocean? And she just looked at me and she goes, what? Oh, no. And she got all pissed at me. Started laughing. I was like, nee. You're always trying to correct me. I gotcha. So, let's see something. All right. So there was an article that I found. And let me see something. It was in the Atlantic. The Atlantic, left-leaning Atlantic. This is what made me kind of laugh. I'm going to pull it up over here. I'm going to read some pieces from it. Because it really shocked me. Because, again, the Atlantic is left-leaning. And they have a piece that was written prior to Saturday's events. And it's the rise of the violent left. Antifa's activists say they're battling authoritarianism on the Americans' right. But are they fueling it instead? Since 1907, Portland, Oregon has hosted an annual Roast Fest. Since 2007, the festival has included a parade down 82nd Street. Since 2013, the Republican Party, which includes, I am going to try that county's name, which includes Portland, had taken part. This April, all of that changed. In the days leading up to the planned parade, a group called Direct Action Alliance declared fascists plan to march through the streets and warned Nazis will not march through Portland unopposed. The alliance said it didn't object to the GOP itself, but to fascists who plan to infiltrate its rank. Yet it had denounced marchers with Trump flags and red magma hats who could normalize support for an orange man who bragged about sexually harassing women and who is waging a war of hate, racism, and prejudice. A second group, Oregon Students Empowered, created a Facebook page called Shut Down Fascism, No Nazis in Portland. Next, the parade's organizers, hey Dan, hey BZ. Next, the parade organizers received an anonymous email warning that if Trump supporters and others who promote hateful rhetoric marched, we will have 200 or more people rush into the parade and drag and push those people out. When Portland police said they lacked the resources to provide adequate security, the organizers canceled the parade. It was a sign of things to come. Now, if you think about this kind of beginning, and again, this Atlantic is writing this article. For progressives, Donald Trump is not just another Republican president. 66% of Democrats, according to the Suffolk poll from last September, consider him a racist. Last month, according to YouGov survey, 71% of Democrats agree that his campaign contained fascist undertones, all of which raises a question that is likely to bedevil progressives for years to come. If you believe the President of the United States is leading a racist, fascist movement that threatens the rights, if not the lives, of vulnerable minorities, how far are you willing to go to stop it? In Washington, D.C., the response to that question centers on how much members of Congress can oppose Trump's agenda, on how Democrats can retake the House of Representatives, and on how and when to push for impeachment. But in the country at large, some militant leftists are offering a very different answer. On Inauguration Day, oh my God, masked activists punched the white supremacist leader Richard Spencer. In February, protesters violently disrupted UC Berkeley's planned to host a speech by Milo, a former Breitbart.com editor. In March, protesters pushed and shoved the controversial conservative political science Charles Murray when he spoke at Millbury College in Vermont. As far-flung as these incidents were, they have something critical in common. Like the organization that opposed the Republican Party's participation in the 82nd Avenue of Rose Parade. Those activists appear to be linked to a movement called Antifa, which is short for anti-fascist or anti-fascist action. The movement's secrecy makes definitely categorizing its activities difficult. But this much is certain. Antifa's power is growing, and how the rest of the activists left responds will help define its moral character in a Trump age. Antifa traces its roots to 1920s and 30s when militant leftists battled fascists in the streets of Germany, Italy, and Spain. When fascism withered after World War II, Antifa did too. But in the 70s and 80s, neo-Nazi skinheads began to infiltrate Britain's punk scene. After the Berlin Wall fell, neo-Nazism also gained prominence in Germany. In response, a cadre of young leftists, including many anarchists and punk fans, revived the tradition of street-level anti-fascism. So far, I mean, I've been stunned that this is a liberal writing. Yeah, and they're actually pointing out everything that has been going on with Antifa. And they go on, and in the late 80s, left-wing punk fans in the United States began following suit, though they initially called their group Anti-Racist Action on the theory that Americans would be familiar with fighting racism than fascism. According to Mark Bray, the author of the forthcoming Antifa, the Anti-Fascist Handbook, these activities toured with popular alternative bands in the 90s, trying to ensure that neo-Nazis did not recruit their fans. In 2002, they disrupted a speech by the head of the World Church of the Creator, a white supremacist group in Pennsylvania. 25 people were arrested in the resulting brawl. By the 2000s, as the internet facilitated more transatlantic dialogue, some American activists had adopted the name Antifa. But even on the militant left, the movement didn't occupy the spotlight. Hey, Dave. To most left-wing activists during the Clinton, Bush, and Obama years, deregulated global capitalism seemed like a greater threat than fascism. Trump has changed that. For Antifa, the result has been explosive growth. According to New York City Antifa, the group's Twitter following nearly quadrupled in the first 3 weeks of January alone. By summer, it exceeded 15,000. Trump's rise has also bred a new sympathy for Antifa among some of the mainstream left. Suddenly noted the Antifa-aligned journal, It's Going Down. The Antichrist and Antifa, who have been demonized and sidelined by the wider left, have been hearing from liberals and leftists, you have been right all along. An article in The Nation argued that to call Trump fascist is to realize that it is not well combated or contained by standard liberal appeal to reason. The radical left, it said, offers practical and serious response in its political movement. And I mean, it goes on for a while, this article does, talking about this. And then it starts to get into, let me jump ahead, I don't want to be sitting here reading the whole article, but all right. Some tactics have elicited subsequential support from the mainstream left. When the masked Antifa activist was filmed assaulting Spencer on Inauguration Day, another piece in The Nation described his punch as an act of kinetic beauty. Slant ran an approval article about the humorous piano ballad that glorified the assault. Twitter was inundated with virtual versions of the video set to different songs, prompting the former Obama speechwriter to tweet, I don't care how many different songs you set Richard Spencer being punched to, I'll laugh at every one. Right there says it. The violence is not directed only at disavowed racists like Spencer. In June of last year, demonstrators, at least some of whom were associated with Antifa, punched and threw eggs at people exiting a Trump rally in San Jose, California. An article, It's Going Down, celebrated the righteous beatings. And if you remember, I believe that's the one where they trapped a female against a glass wall. And they attacked this female. What is worse is they're attacking some people that they could have pushed to support Trump. Some people that might have been on the fence, but when they got attacked by these idiots on the left, it just pushed them that, well, maybe, there is something to what Trump's saying with these idiots acting like that. It's absolutely ridiculous what is going on with the left. And again, not a single politician on the left has denounced. Why is that? Because the media doesn't pressure them to denounce. They get to sit back and laugh and watch the destruction. But they always force the right to denounce. Oh, you got to denounce that. Oh, you haven't denounced it. That means you're a racist and all this other shit that goes on. I mean, look at Trump. He came out and he basically said both sides are despicable. And then what happened Saturday? Oh, that's not good enough. He talked about the evil of both sides. Oh, I'm sorry. He didn't call KKK out or Black Lives Matter out or, neo-Nazis or Antifa by name. He lumped both sides all together. Both sides were out for blood. Both sides were domestic terrorists. Both sides are trying to use terroristic tactics. They're trying to terrorize people to promote political ideology change in the government. Both sides of that. Both are on the alt. One's on the alt left, and I didn't want to say the alt right because neo-Nazis and the KKK, they believe in more government solves all problems. But still, I am going to say, as much as I hate what they have to say, they did have a permit to speak. They have a right to free speech. They have a right. It's not we only give free speech to who we approve of. This is definitely a speech I don't want to hear. I don't agree with. But unfortunately, they're allowed to have that opinion as long as they don't commit any acts. And like a couple people said, that's how you get conversation going. You get two people talking about their beliefs. And you get discussing them. You talk about them. And that's what we don't have at all is conversation. And the Antifa is making sure we don't have those conversations go on. They don't want those conversations go on. They love, and I still think this was a setup, especially knowing that the person that set this up for the Unite the Right was a former Obama supporter and Occupy Wall Street activist. I know that's probably putting on a tinfoil hat, but you know what? I'll put my tinfoil hat on for this one because something doesn't smell right in this whole situation. I believe this was all set up. The left, their Russia little conspiracy theory is going out the window. That's falling apart by the day when you have left-leaning magazines writing articles how it's falling apart and it's done with. And you're pretty much over and done with. So they got to come up with something new. So now all of a sudden this happens out of nowhere. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but just something about it doesn't seem right. And I think this was all set up from Soros. I think that this Unite the Right bullshit was set up by Soros groups, and then they were blindsided by Soros groups of Antifa and Black Lives Matter. The Democrat government, the governor and the mayor had to please stand down. You don't see that happen in a conservative area. You don't see that. The police standing down like that. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. Don't forget, coming up top of the hour in about 20 minutes, you have BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon with its host, the great, infamous BZ. And it looks like he has two hosts. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I know he has Dan the Man Butcher, and it looks like he has Dave the Unpleasant Blind Guy with him tonight, too. So stand by. In about 20 minutes, they'll be coming up. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying coffee is stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I am trying to make sense out of the senseless. You and me both, BZ. You and me both. I mean, you guys weren't here earlier, and I don't like to throw police, law enforcement under the bus, but it's an embarrassment what I see in a lot of these cities when they back down like that. And like you said one time, all it takes is like one sergeant stepping up and doing the right thing, and all the other officers would follow and do the right thing. It's all it takes is just one stepping forward. Don't forget, everybody, top of the hour in about 14 minutes, you have BZ. He'll be hosting the BZ Berserk Bobcat Saloon. He'll have some great co-host guests tonight, Dan the Man Butcher and Dave the Unpleasant Blind Guy. But for those that don't know, BZ was remember the movie Cocktail? The part Tom Cruise played? Well, that was based off of BZ's time as a bartender. So you might want to tune in and see what kind of drinks he can throw around and spin in the air and see what kind of island girls he can knock up. All right, so it wasn't that great of a smart-ass comment. I bombed out on it. Oh, I did want to throw in. Most people know that Durham, North Carolina, is it? Or is it South Carolina? One of the Carolinas. Confederate statue, North Carolina, was torn down by a group of protesters. And the police stood by and watched it and did nothing. Well, they have found the woman that climbed the ladder and put the rope around the statue has been found and has been arrested. There is video of her being taken away in handcuffs and arrested. But damn, they got her. You know, you can't go around defacing this. This is not vigilante justice time. I love that they got her, and hopefully they start getting more of them. I'm tired of this shit. This is not the world I was brought up in. Obama did one hell of a job on this country, and he's really played hell on this country. And going forward, it's going to take some years to clean things up. All right. And here's the Black Lives Matter co-founder. Hate speech is not protected underneath the First Amendment. On Monday's broadcast of MSNBC Live, Black Lives Matter co-founder and executive director and founder of Dignity Now argued that hate speech isn't protected by the First Amendment and white supremacists are directly related to President Trump's policy. Oh, my God. I don't even know how. They go on David Duke and the white supremacists who showed up to Charlottesville. That is Trump's base. And that base is not isolated. It's not. It's directly related to Trump's policies and policies that continue to harm and kill black people and our allies. Who the fuck is going around killing black people except other black people? None of Trump's policies have gone around killing any fucking black people or their allies. I love when they make these dramatic statements that have no basis in reality. Please, show me where that's been going on. I agree, David. I've said several times. I do not agree with what they're saying. I do not agree with the KKK. I do not agree with neo-Nazis. I have several friends that started to go down that path in life. I walked away from them. I just walked away. I was engaged to a woman whose family is Jewish. And all I could see is one of those assholes attacking my future father-in-law. I couldn't deal with that. You know, but I don't want to say unfortunately, as in it's a bad byproduct. They have the right to say, because where do you start drawing the line on what's hate speech? Where do you draw that line? Because, like I said, right now the left is trying to say anything the right says is hate speech. You know, who gets to define hate speech? I know it's sort of like the judge who said he can't tell you what porn is, but if he sees it, he knows when he sees it. going out there and spewing your garbage, just as Black Lives Matter has been allowed to go out there and spew their garbage. I don't agree with it, but I've never wanted them to stop because it's their right to say it. I don't agree with the pigs in the blanket, fry them like bacon. I think that's promoting violence. That's something we could debate. But just because you don't like what people have to say, and as I said, I've said multiple times, they're labeling it hate speech to try to silence, because the left cannot fight against facts. They have no way to win with their policies, because they have no policies. They have they don't have anything they're basing their whole party on. Right now, it's Trump's bad. We want open borders. We want illegal immigrants. We want to help terrorists. We want to help cartels, and screw American citizens. Unless you're black, Latino, gay, transsexual. I'm here. And right now, I wish I could put back in for disability. Because I think I could actually apply for Social Security. I know I'm 45, but I identify with being a 65-year-old male. So shouldn't I be allowed to claim disability now? Or Social Security now? Not disability, but Social Security. I identify with being a 65-year-old male. And the way my body feels, hell yeah, I can prove I identify with a 65 or older male. But I'm white, so I'm screwed. Because everything is the white male's fault nowadays. You want a minority? You want what sucks try being a white male nowadays, because everything is your fucking fault. The dog farted, it's the white male's fault. Oh, I'm sorry, no, that's global warming, which was caused by the white man. Everything. Oh, our country is just in deep shit. So a new message from the Democrats. Democrat California congressman is trying to unite Democrats on the idea that the first thing they would do if and when they recapture Congress and the presidency is to pass Medicare for all. The Democrat leaders have continued to declare that their losses in every special election during President Trump's first 200 days were not due to any middle-class problems, economical problems, national security problems, religion problems, illegal alien problems, or any other policy problems. No. The only reason Democrats have a problem is that they don't have a bunch of simplified message and pity slogans that describe their agenda. Yeah, seriously? That's what it is? They don't have a pretty slogan? That's why they've lost? Oh, my God. All right. BZ, you're here. I'm going to ask you, what the fuck is in the water that makes these California congressmen so fucking stupid that they would think the only reason why they've lost is because they don't have a good slogan? With 43 years of government experience, he has served in the state assembly and state senate, was California's insurance commissioner and lieutenant governor, and has been a congressman from Northern California since late 2009. Well, what the hell? During Mendy, too much Valium, entire political career, he has constantly pushed for the single-payer healthcare system, but that message has gone nowhere. This idiot was the original composer of H.R. 676, known as the Expanded and Improved Medicare for All Act, which was introduced on January 24, and now has a 111 Democrat co-sponsor, as well as support of Senator Bernie Sanders. Whoopee. Garamendi and Sanders argue that Medicare is more effective than private insurance company because the tax system would automatically collect the money and there would be no need to pay for private commissions, advertising, or profits. Oh, my God. Oh. California stupidity really hurts my head. It really does. It really does. I really think I have to go slam my head and kill off all my brain cells so I have one left, so I have the mental capacity of California Democrats. I'm sick of it. Leftist group uses deadly Charlottesville protest to promote progressivism fundraising. The left-wing Indivisible website is using the deadly protest in Charlottesville, Virginia on Saturday to generate donation and promote progressivism through scheduling vigils and other gatherings across the country. Don't you love when it's a chance for the right to, well, promote something from a tragedy? The right usually shies away. Very, very few times do they try to. But when they do, the left just lambasts them, jumps all over. But the left does it every single time. I mean, they're also, get this, they are trying to push gun control because of Charlottesville and that car running into the crowd. It was because of guns that all this happened, even though there was not a shot fired, and there's even questions whether anybody but the police were armed in the whole thing. That's what makes me laugh. They're trying to push I wouldn't doubt that he received fundraising emails off of it. I would not doubt it. It's the left will go to any lows of lows as long as they think they can make money. Especially now because they're hurting for money. They are hurting bad. The Democrat Party's broke. They're going to have trouble because that's the other thing I love is they're talking, we're going to take back the House, we're going to take back the Senate in 2018. And my question is, how are you going to finance it? You're, $3 million in the hole? Where Republicans are having record amount of advertising? It's unbelievable. Yeah, boycott. I'm waiting for that one. But you'll never hear them go after cars, even though it was a car that did the damage. They'll blame the gun, even though the gun had nothing to do with it, which shocks me. That really shocks me. But listen, everybody, don't forget, coming up in less than a minute is BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon with special guests Dan the Man Butcher and Dave the Unpleasant Blind Guy. That'll be coming up in less than 30 seconds. I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank Jenna, Dan the Man Butcher, BZ, and Dave the Blind Man, the Unpleasant Blind Man, for being here. I will see everybody tomorrow. Peace. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.